live Q&A Wednesday afternoon this time. We decided to do it earlier today since it's Groundhog Day, and I don't know, we weren't sure how many people celebrate Groundhog Day or have plans tonight. So we're doing this a little bit early, and hopefully this will work out for the East Coast people. And then next week we'll do a later one for the West Coast people. So just trying to keep it all fair. Yeah, I don't really do anything for Groundhog's Day, except it is my brother's birthday. So I did wish him happy birthday today. And he lives in Virginia. So we're not really doing anything other than that's how I remember his birthday, because it's on Groundhog's Day. So, I need to open up the chat. We've already got people on. Awesome. Monica, I think I already, yes, I do. So I save these now so that when I'm in my office, whoops, it's backwards. I can just, don't have to keep writing them. So, yes, if this is your first time, welcome. And what do I do with my pen? And if you're new, please give me your name and what state or country you are coming from, and I will enter you into the drawing. So I got Kristen. Okay. Let me just get everybody's name out so that I can see it as people get on. Oh, and I'm going to grab throat lozenges like really quick because I know I'm going to start coughing. You guys, it has been so freaking cold here. It's like, it's been in the low teens, and in the morning it's like single digits, and I've had to work outside every day for a while. Hey, Kim. Kim, is this your first time? Sometimes if you're, I'm terrible at names. I'll just be honest. So if you haven't been on for a while, I may not recognize your name, but I'm so excited that you're here. Georgia. Okay, you are entered. And I have Jade here today as well, so I'll let her pick the name out of the bowl. I use a dog bowl and put the names in here, and then I just have her pick one out. I don't really do it that way when I'm at home, only because I have 4 dogs at home, and I don't want any resource guarding. Jay tends to be a little bit of a resource guarder, and so I don't want her to think that it's like a really yummy treat and one of the other dogs is going to come and get it, because they'll want to come and see what she's doing. So hey, Key, I know you've been on before because I recognize your name, but I can't remember where you're from. So if you can tell me where you're from, I will enter you. So, as you know, every time we do this, we do a drawing at the end for a free bag of training treats. These are my go-to salmon. I was telling a client today, though, it's funny because I'm having more dogs that are getting like really picky or have allergies. And so, you're Canada. I think I did know that. Oh, yep. See, I already have your thing. Okay. So I almost have to keep a list now of clients. Like I have one dog that doesn't like, the first dog ever that doesn't like the salmon treats, but he loves rabbit and the freeze-dried beef liver. So I have to remember to take rabbit when I'm working with him and not salmon. I usually have salmon or rabbit with me. And then I have another little dog that is so picky that he will only eat the chicken. And because I'm usually out training with other people, if dogs have allergies to food, it's usually chicken. So I actually don't take chicken with me a lot because I don't want another dog to get have like a reaction to foods. So Renee, hi. I have your thing. And is Brian joining us too? I was wondering how many people would be able to do this at 4 o'clock. But I'm excited that you guys are here. And actually, is it 5 o'clock in Illinois or is it 6? I don't know if Illinois is Central or Eastern time, but I'm glad you guys are here. Anyway, so I was just telling everybody, it's okay. I'll go ahead and put Brian's in and Nicole. Hello, Nicole. I have yours already. I'm actually at my office today, so I can use my pre-made things. So I'm really excited you guys are here. Okay, so it's an hour. In Canada. So you're in Canada and it's 5 o'clock. So I am doing this at my office, which is easier. And right now I have a board and train at my house. And so it's kind of crazy. And you guys that have been here every week, you know that it can kind of get distracting and crazy at my house because I have a lot of dogs at my house and usually a board and train puppy and a Willy Wonka who is a distraction in and of itself. So I just decided I'm doing it here today. So it'll work much better. And, it's cold here and Moose forgot he's a husky. Yeah, like our winters here can get really cold. And I used to have a Samoyed and my Samoyed, hey, Brian, there he is. I already put you in because Renee said you were coming. So you're already entered. She loved the cold. Like she would go out and lay on top of the doghouse when it was snowing. And she'd come in. I feel bad for her to make her come in at night and she would just pant. And so I'd let her go back out again. But yeah, my pit bulls are wimps. They like it warm. Usually they're all like curled up next to me and like I can't move because they're trying to get warm. And I don't like turn the heat all the way down at night. I turn it down a little bit, but because Willy Wonka sleeps in his crate and I have a cat, I don't want it to, be too cold for him. So, but yeah, early in the morning, it's been single digits and it's been really, really cold. So I've had this kind of sore throat cough. It's not COVID, but for like over a week, just because I am outside every day and just can't get over it because it's so cold. Nicole, I opened the back door and he didn't want to go out and potty. He was snuggled in a blanket. Wilma is also a wimp. Oh, that's hysterical. Luckily, my dogs are kind of wimps, but they will go out and go potty and then turn around and come right back in. It's funny because sometimes I have a 5-month-old mini sheepadoodle board and training with me. And so she doesn't really like the cold and Willie doesn't like the cold. So when I let them out in the morning, it's funny. They'll go out and be like, oh, it's cold and like turn around and want to come back in. And I'm like, oh, you guys got to stay out there and go potty. And then you can come back in. So as much as I don't want to, I go out with them so that I can make sure they go potty before letting them come back in. So Key is saying, we had 2 huskies years ago. They would come in the house, sniff around. Thanks, back outside, please. They had a huge dog run in housing. Until the male died, then our female wanted to be inside. Yeah. My friend has 2 Malamutes and they love the outside. So like when it's freezing or snowing, they'll be outside just like laying in the yard. And then in the summer, when it gets really hot, they'll be underneath their big tree. And like sometimes I haven't been able to see them and it'll scare me to death because I'll walk up to the door and they'll bark and they're like underneath their tree trying to shade. So, yeah, I live up in a rural town, like right at the base of the UNA Mountains. And so in the winter, it gets really cold. I want to say our elevation, I should know this, but I don't, is like 5 or 6,000. Um, and so it can get below zero in the winter, and then definitely January, February can get single digits or below zero. And then the summer, we only have like 3 months of hot, like June, July, August. July and August are the worst. And then that's when we head up to the mountains to try and cool off because it is like really, really hot. So we have both really hot, really cold. But we have really nice falls, and I'm not a fan of spring because of mud. We have mud season. And but I do love like living up in the mountains, and we don't have humidity, so that's really good. Um, okay, so what questions do you have? I trying to think of what training tip I can give you. So I had the owner of the building where I rent an office space. She was asking me about, like, it's really good to set your dog up with routine and predictability. Oh, Kristen has one. Good. Okay, Kristen, I'll get to your question in just a second. So she does like the same thing every day. And as soon as she sprays her hair, then her dog knows that then it's time to go. So like come to work or go to doggy daycare, things like that. And so on Sunday, which is her like day off, so she doesn't really, go anywhere. Her dog was like pawing at her, like, hey, we're supposed to go for a run. We're supposed to go to work. We're supposed to go to daycare. And she's like, how do you do that when you have a set routine and then you break from it and then the dog is expecting you to do something? Which is such a good question because as we all know, we want our dogs to, have structure. What I do is, because I try to get on the computer in the morning and look at emails just in case somebody cancels. And as soon as I close my laptop, that's Jade's cue that mom's getting ready to leave. And so that's when she'll jump up and she'll give me this look like, please take me, because it's either, yep, you're going, or, get in the crate, because then she's got to go in the crate while I'm gone, because she can jump the fence. And so I can't just let her stay in the yard with the other dogs. And so that's kind of the cue. So on a day when I'm like today, my first client wasn't till noon. So I did the email thing and shut the computer, and Jade jumps up, and I just basically have a cue, like, I just say, oh, Jade, I'm not leaving. And then I'll just ask her to do something else. Like I'll have her come up and lay on the couch by me, or get her a toy, or do something out, just to let her know, like, oh, today we're kind of deviating, not getting ready to, we're not leaving yet. So another thing you can do is kind of like change up your routine. So, because I do the same thing every morning as well. But if I was going to change up my routine, like maybe put makeup on and then feed the dogs, or, check email first, or like maybe feed the dog, check email, then do makeup or something. So just to kind of change it up every couple days or every week, just so the dogs don't like pick up on the same cues. But I would only do that if you're having issues with your like dog expecting what comes next, and then like pawing and being like, hey, come on, we're supposed to be doing this. We're supposed to be doing this. So, okay. Kristen, my dog does not like other dogs. Every time she sees another dog while on a walk, she growls, barks, and lunges. I keep her leash short, but she still lunges. How do I socialize her? I'm afraid she will attack another dog. Yeah, so key is absolutely right on both. Counter condition and on leash. So Kristen, how old is your dog, and does your dog get along with dogs off leash, or have you even tried? So this is a great subject. I love talking about this because I do so much of this every day. Not all dogs love other dogs, and it can be because of genetics, it can be because of learning history, it can be lack of socialization, it can be something traumatic that happened during a fear period. There's so many things that go into it. So one reason that some dogs are reactive, in fact, I worked with one today who is really reactive on leash, but then if they take the dog off leash, he's fine. So we were trying to do some work, and I had Jade there because Jade just doesn't care about other dogs, and other dogs can like snap at her and she'll just be like, yeah, whatever. And so the little dog who's like, this big, kind of lunged at Jade and kind of snapped. And she says, now if I let him off leash, she'll be fine and just go up and touch noses with her. And I said, well, but you have to walk on a leash. So we want to teach your dog how to be okay on leash. So some dogs, especially ones that are fearful, when they're on a leash, or if they sense, or if they perceive danger, or something like that, their fight or flight kicks in. And when we have a dog on leash, we take away their flight option. So then in the dog's mind, it's like, oh crap, there's a dog. I'm afraid of dogs. Like, maybe like my dog, a dog attacked me when I was 3 months old, or I don't, that dog's really big and I'm afraid of big dogs. So when we have them on leash, we take away their option to turn around and run away. And so they feel like the only thing that they have left is to react. And that's why they react on leash. I used to have a dog like that. And what I would do is if we'd see another dog like up in the mountains or somewhere where I could let him off leash, if we saw another dog that was off leash, I would unclip him and let him go off leash, because I knew that he would do better off leash than on. Now, that doesn't mean that you can do that with every dog, because some dogs will actually run up and, like you said, attack another dog, and we don't want that to happen. So you really have to know your dog before you can do that. So before you can just let your dog, off leash to go meet another dog, you have to know like what they're going to do. Okay, so 2.5 and never off leash. So at 2.5 years, hey, Julie, I think I might already have one for you. Let me see. I do. So I'll enter you. At 2.5, your dog could be nearing social maturity, and depending on the breed. So Kristen, the other question I would answer, sorry, I'm like putting my earrings in too. The other question I would ask is what breed, because the smaller dogs actually mature faster. And so some dogs hit social maturity at 2 and some at 3. Well, and actually really small dogs might be 1. So it depends on the breed, but and I'm assuming, is this a rescue dog, or is this one that you've had since it was a puppy? This is why when I have clients, like I have a 4-page questionnaire that they fill out. Oh, part pit and part boxer. Okay. So definitely part of it could be breed. It can be genetics, depending on like what the parents were like. If they were reactive, if if a female is in a stressful situation or really fearful, then she can actually pass on those stress hormones and pass on that DNA to her puppies. So when people have a puppy and they're like, oh, I did everything. I did puppy class. I socialized. I did this. A lot of times it's like, it's nothing you did wrong. It could be, something that was passed down. So I would do, yes, Key is absolutely right. The first thing I would do is maybe talk to your vet about some anti-anxiety medicine, because a lot of times that really helps, because a dog has to be in learning mode. So every time the dog like starts to bark, lunge, growl, they're going over threshold and then they can't learn. So if you need a little extra help to get your dog like at or under threshold, I would try like some CBD. You could try CBD. A lot of times we do have to do like anti-anxiety medication. Okay, it was your son's dog who came to live with you when he and his girlfriend broke up. Okay, and then did your son get the dog as a puppy or was it a rescue? So anyway, what I like to do is set up. The first thing I would do, Kristen, is see if you can find a certified behavior consultant in your area to help you. Because, as a puppy, okay, because you're gonna have to like set up little scenarios, and if you can't find somebody, I do virtual consults as well, and I also give Pupford folks a discount. And then I can show you like videos of what stuff is supposed to look like just to help you. So if they got the dog as a puppy, I would want to know, like, did they socialize when the dog was, like 8 to 16 weeks? That's like a critical learning period when you want every interaction to be positive. And during that time, if the puppy has a negative encounter with another dog, that can also affect the dog as well. And sometimes we don't see aggression until a year and a half or later. And so what the first thing that I do is we want to change the dog's emotional response. So instead of being, I hate other dogs or I'm afraid of other dogs, we want to teach the dog that, I love other, whenever I see other dogs, I get hot dogs or I get chicken or I get something really good like that. So there's a couple different ways you can do that. I've done things where I will stand at a distance at a dog park, not going in the dog park, but being at a distance and doing the engage, disengage. And Kristen, if you need a copy of that and you want to email me, I'm putting my email in right now and I can send you that. So basically, whoops, I don't know why it's telling me to reload the page. Let's see. Okay, hopefully you guys are still there because I just got like an error message or something. So hopefully everybody's still there because all your comments just disappeared. So what I like to do is start at a distance. So I will either like sit in the car at a vet clinic or a pet store or something where you might see other dogs. And when your dog sees another dog, just start to treat. And we call this open bar, closed bar. So open bar is there's a dog and you're just giving, like, chicken falls from the sky or hot dogs fall from the sky. If your dog is barking and reacting, then you're too close and you want to increase distance. So you want to start at a distance to where your dog can just look at another dog and not react. And then when the dog goes in the store or goes away, then the treats stop. You can do that. The one that I like better is the engage disengage, where your dog looks at another dog and doesn't react, and then you click and treat. And I do use a clicker for this, so that the dog hears the clicker, and then that will help teach the dog to like look away, like, oh, I heard the click, where's my treat? Okay, and then if someone could just type something in the chat and make sure, just so I can make sure you guys are still here. So I don't know if I have to like reload the page or not. Like I said, I just got an error message and everybody's chat disappeared. So I just want to make sure everybody's still here. Oh, good, you are. Okay. Okay, Kristen, let me write down your email address really quick. Oh, good, you're here. Okay, good. I always panic whenever we have technical issues because you guys know I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world. Okay. Kristen Dean, 1975. Okay. So what the engage disengage is basically, let's say that this one is your dog. So if at this distance your dog is barking, which I mean, let's pretend like this is farther than it is, then you would increase distance. So you want to start at a distance where your dog can just look at another dog and stay calm. So when your dog looks, you click treat. And you can drop the treat in front of your dog, so it kind of like resets your dog to like look down, get the treat, and just do that over and over. So what we're doing is we're pairing treats with the other dog. So it's like, oh, I see another dog, I get chicken. And we're teaching the dog a better behavior. So instead of lunging, barking, growling, I just want you to look at another dog and notice it, and then I'm going to reward you for that. Then the next step is that by clicking, eventually your dog will be like, oh, I heard the clicker. Look away from the dog and look at you like, oh, where's my treat? I heard the clicker. Then eventually your dog will look at another dog, disengage on his own, and look away and look to you. And then you click and treat for that, because that's actually what we want. And when you get to that point, then you can ask your dog like, hey, do you want to go one step closer? And then you literally take one step. And a lot of my clients, I tell them to take one step and they take three. But if you look at how much distance 3 steps is, that's quite a bit. And a lot of dogs will go over threshold. So it literally is one step. And then you start from there. And that's why I'm saying you really want to set up training scenarios so that you can control distance. Like the client that I was working with today, she says, we stop, but then the person like is coming towards us and we have nowhere to go. Also, if you're walking towards somebody and your dog starts to react, I would just say, let's go, and do it in an upbeat voice so that your dog doesn't sense any panic or fear or anything in your voice, and just say, okay, let's go. And you turn and go the other way. And then, because at the point that your dog is reacting, he's like out of learning mode. So, but if you can go places where, you can control the distance, or you have somebody to help you that can control the distance, that's why, having a trainer there to help you would be great. I also use a full-size stuffed dog a lot when I'm doing this. Let's see, I'm trying to get rid of this. There's like a comment right in front of the camera. I don't know how to get rid of it. So I use something like a stuffed dog, but it's full size. It's an actual full-size dog. And I will set it like by a tree or somewhere. So that way the dog doesn't move and I can like focus on the dog that I'm working with. And I know that that other dog is not going to move. It still smells like a dog because I've had it in the crate with my dogs as a toy. So it gets their smell all over it. And so you can start with something like that. And then as soon as your dog can like look and then look away and check in with you, you click and treat, and then you go one step closer and do it. And then one step closer. And then from that point, if you get close enough, I would do like, say, do you want to check it out? And let your dog go up and do a 2-second butt sniff. So we did this on Monday with a dog that we've been working with for over a year. And the person who we were using with her dog, it was somebody that a friend of mine knew, and they're like, oh, they look so similar. We want them to be friends. And I was trying to tell the other person what to do when the two dogs meet, which is when dogs meet, you always want to like turn with them. Because if dogs go like right for the butt or the genitals to sniff, which is appropriate, and they turn, you want to turn with them so that the dogs don't get tangled and the leashes don't get tangled. And what happened is the dogs were sniffing, and I was telling the person like, okay, move with your dog, and the two dogs froze. And I don't know which one growled first, but it set the other one off. And nothing happened. The dog that I was working with was muzzled. And so it was just a lot of like, rah, 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 rah. And then we just pulled him away and said, okay, let's go. So you want to set it up really, really safe. And a lot of times, without actually seeing your dog. And I mean, Kristen, if you want to take a video, like just when you're out on a walk, not that I want your dog to react, because we kind of want to keep them under threshold. But if you want to send me a video of what your dog looks like from a distance, I'm happy to look at it and tell you like, yes, that's definitely like fear aggression, or that looks like this. And I may not be able to tell from the video, but sometimes I can. Like today I worked with another pit bull that barked at me for an entire hour. But it was definitely fear because she would bark and then move away, bark and move away. And her tail was tucked the whole time. She was barking and growling at me, but her tail was tucked. So definitely fearful. And I would do the same thing. Just start from a distance, practice the engage, disengage. The other thing I would do is condition your dog to a muzzle. I am very pro muzzle because if you're out walking your dog and there's a loose dog that comes running up to you, you want to make sure that your dog doesn't go after another dog. And I think the laws probably vary state to state, but at least in our state, even if your dog is leashed, but another loose dog comes up, and if your dog hurts that dog, then they can give even the person with the leash dog, they can deem that dog dangerous because it caused damage. And I asked animal control, I'm like, yeah, but what if the dog's just defending itself? He says, well, it does. He says the one person could get a ticket for running at large and not having your dog on a leash, but the dog on the leash could still get, the owner could get a ticket for having a dangerous dog because it caused harm to another dog. That law actually does not make sense to me because I think, if a dog is on a leash and has to defend itself, it's going to defend itself. But until they change the law, there's really nothing I can do. So just to be safe, I would actually condition your dog to a muzzle. So that kind of makes it so that your dog can't harm another dog, but it also will help you be calmer when you're out with the dog. So that if you see a dog, it's like, okay, my dog's muzzled. I don't have to worry, so I can be calmer. And if you do that, I would use as a treat, you could use like spray cheese or peanut butter, or those camping tubes that you can keep food or whatever in, or like, shampoo or soap or whatever. You can fill that with stuff and then just like squeeze it through the muzzle. So I like the Baskerville Ultra. I'm going to put it down here. Because dogs can still eat, drink, pant, take treats, stuff like that with the muzzle on. They can still bite through the Baskerville sometimes, but not as easy. So I would definitely do a muzzle. And I need to write down what to send you. I'm going to send you a really good muzzle video on how to get your dog used to the muzzle. Okay, so I need to send you engage, disengage, and then the muzzle. So yeah, those are the two things that I would do. And I have some clients that have just had to kind of accept the fact that my dog's not good with other dogs. And so then it's just environmental management, like keeping your dog safe, keeping other dogs safe, keeping your dog like with you, under your control. If you see a loose dog, just turn and go the other way, things like that. So I also do something called a come front, which basically means we're walking and I'll say, come front. So if I'm walking this one and we're walking and I say, come front, the dog's going to turn, come towards me, sit, face me, and I'm going to rapid feed treats while another dog is passing. Another thing you could do is try to distract your dog with a go hunt. So take a handful of treats, throw them into the grass. You can use dirt, bark, grass, snow, and let your dog like start hunting for the treats, because that kind of redirects their attention, gives them something to do, and it's nose work. And a lot of times the dog is just like, oh, yeah, I'm playing the go hunt game and I'm finding all these really yummy treats. So I really don't care about that other dog. So you can also try to redirect your dog to do that. We do a lot of that with that dog that I was telling you about that we've been working with. Sorry, I'm dropping throat drops all over. We've been doing that with the dog that we've been working with. And it works really well. So one time I threw treats into the snow, and he was eating the treats, and all of a sudden he looked up and his ears went up and I could see he was focused on something. And I looked over and there was a loose dog sitting on, like laying on the porch about probably 30 feet away. And I'm like, oh crap, there's a loose dog. But you know what? The dog that I had didn't care. He's like, oh, yep, there's a dog. Okay, I'm going to go back to hunting. So actually doing nose work and redirecting the dog to doing something else works really good. And I would practice all these things before you need them. So like I do what's called training walks, which basically we walk, and when there's no distractions, nothing that the dog can react to, then we'll practice like the come front. We'll practice just doing let's go and turning and going the other way. I practice the throwing the treats, things like that. So then we practice it so much that the dog just gets second nature. It gets in the dog's muscle memory. And then when you need it, the dog can just do it without thinking. So I have one of my other trainers now working with this same dog, and for an hour they work on this stuff. They will practice, leave it. They'll practice come front. They'll practice a flight cue, which is another thing you could teach your dog. If they see another dog, they'll actually stop and practice the engage disengage. And so the whole hour is not just walking, but they're training. And like I said, it's taken over a year, but this dog finally, now when he sees another dog, sometimes he'll be like, oh, nope, I'm going to go this way. And he'll actually turn and go the other way on his own. So that's actually the flight cue that we taught the dog. And it just basically teaches a dog, instead of choosing fight and reactivity, I'm going to choose to flee. And again, your dog may never like other dogs, and that's okay. Like, not every dog, they're kind of like people, like, um, I have friends that really don't like a lot of people and they're kind of introvert, and I don't like big groups of people. So, um, dogs are the same way. Not every dog is a social butterfly that can go to dog parks and just loves every other dog. Um, that is a small percentage. And then you have another small percentage of dogs that are just outright aggressive. And most of the population of dogs are dog selective. And that means that they can have dog friends, but they don't love all dogs. So, when you say like, how can I socialize? I really wouldn't. I wouldn't try to socialize him. I would do the counter conditioning, which means changing the dog's emotional response from I hate dogs to I love seeing dogs because I get chicken. And then teaching the dog what you want them to do instead, which is just notice a dog and not react. And then I will reward you for that. So, and then just accepting the fact that, yeah, I have a non-social dog that doesn't really love other dogs, and that's okay. I live in a community. Well, this isn't where I live, but this is where most of my clients come from. And it's a very like dog friendly town. Everyone has like 1 to 2 dogs. And everyone thinks that their dog should be off leash and that their dog should love all other dogs and that all other dogs should love their dogs. And it's just not the case. And so it does create problems when I have clients that are out trying to walk their dog or work with their dog and they have off leash dogs running up to them. So it really isn't. I think my dog has gas. It's a good thing you guys can't smell that. So it's not really a matter of socializing. You really want to socialize a dog before they turn 1. And the maximum or the best time to socialize is before 16 weeks. So, at this point, at 2.5 years, you actually can't socialize anymore, but you can counter condition and try to change the dog's emotional response. And sometimes I have had dogs that were able to then, be around other dogs and play and do well. And some dogs just have never gotten to that point, but the owner has learned how to manage their dog in public and they do great. And so it works out. And it's also good if you have, realistic expectations like, okay, my dog's never going to be a dog park dog. My dog might never love all other dogs, and that's okay. And then just try to, work within work with that. Julie says, love this topic. The go hunt idea and confront are awesome. Yes, I use those all the time with every reactive dog I have. I'm having similar issues with my 1-year-old schnauzer with dog aggression that has gotten bad after taking him to dog obedience classes. Yeah, so at 1, so now your dog is kind of like where Kristen's dog is probably nearing like social maturity, and your 1-year-old is a teenage adolescent. And if your dog had like a bad experience at a dog obedience class, like maybe, and not all classes are good classes. Like if the trainer doesn't understand dog development and forces every dog to play with other dogs, sometimes dogs can be really fearful and then end up not liking other dogs. So what I do, like in my classes, is I will start by introducing 2 dogs on leash of similar size and similar energy level, and then kind of let them play. And then they take a break, and then I'll take 2 more dogs and like introduce them on leash and then let them play. And then I might, slowly like add in a third dog and things like that. But it's never just like a free for all puppy class, just let them all off leash and let them play, because some dogs are really fearful. And if we don't help them out a little bit, then they can become fear aggressive or fear reactive. So, yeah, Julie, I would do the same thing. The Go Hunt is such an amazing kind of redirection to help your dog like just refocus and do something fun in the presence of another dog. I also like on trails, if we can't retreat because we're on a trail and there's somebody in front of and somebody behind, I'll step off the trail and do a confront, and then just like engage with the dog. Just say like, oh, thanks for looking at me. Good job. Yeah, we're just going to let this dog pass by. And look, I'm just going to keep feeding you peanut butter or chicken. And I'm going to just keep giving you all this good stuff. And you're being so good. And I just like ramble, but in a happy voice. And I just quickly feed the dog. And even if the dog like looks back, like, oh, there's a dog passing, you can be like, oh, good. Look, good job. Yeah, thank you for being calm, and just like talk your dog through it and let the other person pass, and then you can go back to your hike. Yeah, and if the class was pretty chaotic, sometimes that can really affect another dog as well. So, yeah, those things I use with almost every reactive dog that I work with. So, the engage, disengage, and let's see, what else was I going to send you? Oh, muzzle training depending on the dog. And if you have a lot of loose dogs like around your area, I would definitely muzzle train. So there are a few other things that you can do. There's lots of different tools you can do. So, but I like the Go Hunt thing just because to the dog, it's like if he sees another dog and he's like, oh crap, there's a dog. I hate dogs. It can be like, oh, I love it when I see other dogs. So an example would be like, let's say that I really don't like my cousins, which is not the truth, but let's just say I don't like my cousins. And so my parents say, well, if we go to California to visit your cousins, you get to go to Disneyland. So then instead of disliking my cousins, I'm like, oh, I love it when I get to go see the cousins, because then I get to go to Disneyland. So it changes my emotional response. And that's kind of what the Go Hunt is. You're creating your own Disneyland with really yummy treats. And so instead of like, oh, there's a dog, I hate dogs, it's like, oh, there's a dog, that means we get to play Go Hunt. So it changes the dog's emotional response. If I'm in Disneyland, I'm going to be focused on rides and having fun and doing all this stuff, and I'm not really focused on the fact that I don't like my cousins, and I'm actually having fun with them, which might change my like how I feel about them as well. So that's kind of a human analogy of how this can work. So yeah, Julie, I would do the same thing. And if you're working through this and you have questions, feel free to email me. And also, again, I can do a virtual consult with you as well, where I have actual videos of dogs doing it. I'm a visual learner, so if you give me a handout, that's great, and I can follow the steps. But I actually learn better by seeing it done and then doing it. So that's how I learn. So if you're a visual learner, you might want to see a video and kind of do it that way. And my camera's falling off. And so we can do that. Oh, let me give you, actually, yeah, I had put my email up, and that's when I got an error message and it wiped everything away. So that's my email. If you do want to do like a virtual consult, I will send you some paperwork to fill out, and then we'll set up a Zoom call, and stuff like that. But a lot of stuff I can just help, like, kind of help you virtually. And, send me a video. Please send me a video of what your dog looks like, because I might be able to, give you some ideas there. Like, yeah, that's definitely fearful, or yes, definitely get your dog used to a muzzle, things like that. When I do, since we don't have any other questions yet, I'm just going to keep rambling. And then maybe in like 10 minutes, we'll do a drawing, and then you guys can go early if you want. I feel like I'm teaching class. Like, you guys can go early if you want, but you're here of your own free will. So you can actually go whenever you want. But I'm happy you're here. And this is such a great topic. This is one of my favorite things to talk about. And these reactive dogs are actually, these and shy and fearful dogs are my favorite to work with. And a lot of times the shy and fearful dogs are the ones that are reactive because they're really fearful on leash, and they can't choose to run away. So now I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? Shoot, I can't remember what I was going to say now. Anyway, yeah, send me a video if you want, and I will try, and I can kind of tell you, yeah, maybe go to your vet and see if you can get on some medicine. And just so you know, medicine by itself is not going to work. And sometimes just training by itself isn't going to work. But together they work amazing. It's just kind of like you can go to your doctor and get stuff for anxiety. Or you could go to like counseling, but your anxiety is still there. But if you take medication without learning how to deal with anxiety, it's not going to do any good. But like together, they work really well. So it's kind of the same kind of thing. Okay, Nicole. So I bought a climb platform. I'm excited to use it in training. Awesome. I have to Google what a climb platform is. I think I know, but let's see. Platform. Oh, yep. Just what I thought. Yeah, those can be really good, especially for teaching like a place cue and things like that. It can be really good. And since I have since I have 4 dogs and my house is really small, I just oh, that's right. You did Clicker Expo and they talked you into it. Of course they did. But yeah, it can be a really good training tool. So I just have dog beds all over my house, but I should get one just to use for training. So yeah, how was Clicker Expo? I really wanted to go, but I did not sign up in time, and I'm actually signed up for the Lemonade conference that starts next week. So I'm hoping that next year that the Clicker Expo is virtual again, because then I can actually do it. It's hard for me to fly and stay anywhere for like 3 or 4 days, just because I have so many animals at home and special needs, and some are on medicine and stuff like that. So it's hard for me to go anywhere, but I love to do like virtual stuff. So yeah. So Nicole, what do they use the climb platform for? I'm just curious. So I use beds to teach place as well. What are some of the things that they use the climb platform for? Just totally curious, like what they talked you into buying it for. There's a girl that I follow, and she uses them a lot with in agility. So I guess they can use them for jumps or like stationing and stuff too. But yeah, that's really cool. Thinking of signing up for the Victoria Stilwell conference in April. Yes, that would be a good one. I hate to admit this, but you just reminded me. I actually signed up for a Victoria Stilwell conference probably over a year ago, and I've been so busy that I still haven't watched it. And I probably at this point don't even have access to it anymore. So that was my bad. But I think it was, right during COVID. And so a lot of trainers and places were giving discounts for virtual. And I thought, oh, this will be great. And I love Victoria Stilwell. And so I signed up, and then I expected to get slow, and I have never slowed down enough to watch it. So I honestly don't even know if I still have access to it. Usually they give you access for a year. I think it's been over a year. I'll have to go back and look and see if I still have access, because I know there was some really good topics and things that I really wanted to watch and learn and then I forget. I get so busy that then I forget that I've signed up and actually have access to this, and then I just forget about it, like I did with hers. So, Nicole, I can use it as a wobble board, or they use them as a station during training. Yeah, that's what I've always used them for stationing. But yeah, wobble board would be, great too, to just teach your dog how to balance, and would be great for agility. So cool. Okay, well, if we don't have any other questions, I will go ahead and do a drawing. I'm just gonna go through these really quick and make sure that I haven't missed any. Okay, let's see if I can wake Jade up. Whoa, oh crap, I just dropped a bunch on the floor. Okay, Jade, you want to come pick a name? Let's see if I can actually film her doing this. Come here. Pick it up. Oh, not the bowl. Here, pick one out. Pick one out. She's trying to bite the whole bowl. Here, I'll get you some water. Can you pick one up? Here, get one of these. Pick one up. Here, get one. Get it, get it, get it, get it. She's trying to pick up the bowl, so I'll just pick one. She's actually getting pretty good at this, but I think she wants water, so I'm just going to pick. Okay, today's winner is Monica Leon from South Carolina. So congratulations, Monica. And so what you need to do, Monica, is email hello@pupford.com and let them know what kind of treats you want. And I will email them as well, and let them know that you are the winner. Oh, Nicole, that is a great use for that. Exam table during cooperative care. Yes, and especially when you're doing nails, because if you can get a dog to lay on something and put their paws kind of on the edge so that their paws kind of lay over, like if this were your table and their paws were kind of over it, it makes it a lot easier to do nails. So yeah, I didn't even think about that, which is really weird because I'm doing cooperative care with a dog right now. So yes, great use for that. When I looked it up online, there is one that you can kind of fold the legs up. So I may actually get one for people that don't have like the raised corunda beds at their house, just to kind of help with that. So yeah, thanks for that tip. Okay, so everybody, thank you for coming. Have a great rest of your week. Next week, I believe we're doing it at either 6:30, or 7. I'll have to look. It's on my calendar, but my calendar's actually under my computer to lift it up. And I know one week we're going to try a Thursday, but I usually try and post it like on Monday, when our upcoming live is going to be. So, but since we did early this week, we'll do later next week. So, have a great Groundhog's Day. If you celebrate Groundhog Day, have a great week and weekend, and I will see you guys next week.